Queen Elizabeth, a love story and a poem. The Duc d'Anjou, the fourth and final son of Catherine de' Medici of Paris, France, came to England as a suitor for Queen Elizabeth. He is the only one outside of England to have done so. He stayed with her for years as they negotiated their marriage proposal. He had corresponded with her years prior to that as a potential suitor. They had an age difference of 21 years, but when they met, fire struck, and love was consumed, and the queen was joyous in her time with him. So when her populace turned against her, because if she were to die in childbirth and they be left with a papist king, they could not stand that thought. She had to break off their engagement. And this poem, not only did she write it, but she had it published. It's entitled On Monsieur's Departure. I grieve, yet dare not show my discontent. I love, but yet am forced to seem to hate. I do, yet dare not say I ever meant. I seem stark mute, but inwardly do prate. I am and not. I freeze and yet am burned, since from myself another self I've turned. My care is like my shadow in the sun, follows me flying, flies when I pursue it, stands and lies by me, doth what I have done. His too familiar care doth make me rue it. No means have I to rid him from my breast, till by the end of things it be suppressed. Some gentler passion slide into my mind, for I am soft and made of melting snow. Or be more cruel, Lord, and so be kind. Let me or float or sink, be high or low. Or let me live with some more sweet content, or die and so forget what love e'er meant. Thus they departed, and many eyewitnesses were there, and saw them both crying bitterly at this departure. And he left, and her flotilla followed him port to port, until a storm sent her back. He was destined to go to the Low Countries. He was on a failed military campaign where 1,500 fine Frenchmen lost their lives, and he, the Duc d'Anjou, Francis, and his general were able to barely escape and make their way back to Paris. And when he was in Paris, he had brought something with him, the sleeping sickness, and at age 30 had succumbed and died. No one wanted to tell the queen. Nobody wanted to tell her. They finally had to, and she wept bitterly for weeks and weeks publicly and wore black. And she even wrote to his mother, Queen of France, Catherine de' Medici, and she said, "If you could see a picture of my heart, you'd see a body without a soul. Your sorrow cannot exceed mine. Although you were his mother, you have another son, but I can find no condition than death, which I hope will soon enable me to rejoin him." Such passion, such heartfelt words. And every year on the anniversary of the Duc d'Anjou's death, she observed it until she died some 20 years later. Thank you for listening to this story that is not heralded much, and I hope you look into it and see the love that was there. Merci.